Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. You just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Welcome to a Feedback Friday on a Saturday edition of Purple Daily. In fact, it's possible that while you're consuming this, we are doing one of two things on this Saturday. We might be watching the Vikings' third relatively meaningless preseason game, or maybe we are live at the Minnesota State Fair, which if you happen to be consuming this early Saturday morning, we are going to be hanging out Carousel Park stage, kind of right in the middle of the State Fair from 10:15 until about 11 o'clock. Just doing a live edition of Purple Daily, hanging out, probably snake drafting State Fair foods. So come on out last minute and hang out with us on Saturday morning. You guys ready for some spillover bonus feedback here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, you guys can always hit us up. Just send us emails or notes via the Score North app. There's a feedback tab. That's the easiest way to email the show. Christopher Sinstegard says, "Hey guys, thanks for your outstanding content." Thank you, Christopher. Much appreciated. One thing I realized is this past draft, there's a lot of buzz about getting a wide receiver 3, and in the criticism the front office received after their choice to not go out and get one. I know it's early in the season, but so far it looks like they made the right choice to stick with the talent on the roster. Could you give your take on how important it is to accurately evaluate the talent already on the roster and how that impacts the future of the franchise? Yeah, because they could have easily done what we probably would have done, which is panic and go sign somebody for a few $1 million, like resources that could maybe even be carried over into 2025 because you can roll over cap space.
Sure.
And or you could have traded like a 5th round pick for Adam Thielen, and now you're down a 2025 draft pick. Instead, they said, "No, we believe in Jalen Nailor," and they were right about that. It looks like.
I think the question about evaluating the talent on your roster is a great one because it's so true. Like there's a bunch of bins here. One is your drafting process, which of course we are finding out in 2022 was flawed, improved a bit after that, not perfect. One is signing guys after the draft is done as UDFAs, which the Vikings are, continually hitting home runs on. At least, they spend on guys, they go out, they try to develop them. And so, so on Naylor especially, I think the key there was, and we all saw it, when he was playing, like in training camp practices and in exhibition games previously, we all said, for a 6th-round draft pick, that guy looks really good. But then he inevitably got hurt. And that's where you're still holding your breath. But the fact that Naylor has been effective does not surprise me. Like it's not like we never saw him before. But the fact that he gets hurt concerns you. But the team said on him and Wongwu in particular, hey, these guys have shown potential. Can they stay on the field? So far, the answer has been yes. But I love that question because it's a 90-man roster, right? So the evaluation of who you keep there, who you give a chance to, who you keep on your practice squad are all incredibly important things. And I think when it comes to the receiver spot also, with the expectations probably of 2024 in particular, they probably said, we don't need to panic and go sign a guy. Let's try to develop guys. And Tristan Jackson, I don't know that there's not something there. Like, that dude is balled out. That dude has played great. So, yes, I love that point because I think sometimes we forget about evaluating what you currently have, but probably haven't seen a ton of, at least from the public standpoint.
And, I mean, look, you saw what the Eagles just paid for Dotson. Like, teams are now, especially with mid-tier quarterbacks, maybe not elite QBs. Jalen Hurts is solid. I like Jalen Hurts a lot, but he needs as much talent around him as possible. When you're someone like Pat Mahomes and you can trade Tyreek Hill and still win 2 Super Bowls without him because you're just that damn good, it's a little different. But you are seeing, I think, in the league valuing as many playmakers as possible. The Bengals with all the weapons they had when they had their Super Bowl run. The Rams, obviously, with Matt Stafford when they had their Super Bowl run. You need as many weapons as possible. So I think also with TJ Hawkinson, he's probably going to miss, obviously, the first month. If they didn't have a tight end of that caliber and they just had, like a league average tight end, I probably would have put either a precedent on getting a game-changing tight end or a wide receiver 3. But you need as many options as possible on offense. So I think the Vikings are in a good spot on paper with Jefferson, Addison, Hoxton when he's back, and maybe a Naylor or Lucky Jackson emerges out of thin air. But you are seeing teams more and more just needing as many pieces as possible on your offense.
How is Lucky Jackson doing, Judd? He was one of my picks for Mr. Mankato.
Returning punts sometimes. I think he's a practice squad guy again. I think the Jackson competition is done.
Okay. It's
Tristan I think,
Tristan
makes it.
has one out.
I think, yes. But, yeah, I don't think Lucky's been playing, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think in the exhibition games thus far, I'm sure that this will change in the gameplay today. I don't think he's played early a lot. Like, I think he's been more of a second half guy, I think.
Who is returning punts mostly? Like, who's the most likely candidate, I guess, to be the Brandon Powell.
Yeah, Powell's going to, he's
got it, Brandon Powell, yeah.
He's going to be, that's going to be his main thing. Okay, Dave Harms says, Lewis Cine making the roster would be a win for everyone. What are, going into this weekend, what are the percentage chances that Lewis Cine is a Viking in September?
10%.
Like on the 53.
10% or lower. Like, they're showcasing him. He doesn't, I keep saying this. They're putting him in situations where he doesn't have to play their defense. He's freelancing. They literally told him, he talked about this. Go out there and play free, play football. He's not confined. He's not restricted to what their beliefs are. So, like, he's practicing a football religion that the Vikings don't preach, which is
kind of so interesting. Does he know? Does he realize that's what's happening?
Yeah.
Right.
Mark Craig did a great piece. So Mark from the Star Tribune covered the game in Cleveland, and Cine balls out, right, big stats, and so Mark went and talked to him post game, and he was like really down. And according to Mark's column, he was like, yeah, I'm just doing the best I can. But he was down. I think he knows. He played every defensive snap. He played, I think, 13 special team snaps. You don't do that to a guy who has a chance in hell of making the roster, who's a former first-round pick by you.
Yeah.
No, this is a very smart play. And we actually talked about this on Thor's Day yesterday too, because Thor actually said that he is sort of leaning towards, could they keep Cine now because he's healthy and what we've seen. And so Thor was like, has gone from he's unplayable to could he play? And my point to Thor was this: look at the safety room, okay? It's PhDs in football. Harrison Smith, Josh Metellus, Cam Bynum, to a lesser extent, Theo Jackson. Like, these guys are operating. They are operating. They're PhDs. And Cine's just sort of like coming in and going. So, yeah, no, I think it's a very slim chance. And I think that Lewis Cine plays a ton on Saturday. And best case, he's traded on Tuesday.
Yeah, and I think I agree with you. I might put it a little higher than 10% just because of the God, he's a first-round pick who's showing some flashes. But if they're essentially telling him, hey, dude, go out there. Don't worry. All the stuff that we've been trying to teach you since Brian Flores got here a couple years ago.
Just go play.
Just block that stuff out. Go out there and play on instinct and go play for the entire duration of the 3-hour game.
Right.
That's not – you're not all of a sudden going to be like, oh, this is great. Let's have 10 – let's start him. Let's put – in a regular season game, let's put 10 guys out there within the scheme and then tell Lewis to go do his own thing and improvise and freelance. And not to mention, they get – the evaluation that they make on the 53-man roster fringes, 90% of it comes in practice and joint practice. The games are sort of like, yes, there are roster spots to be had. But when you're talking about a first-round pick that you've seen for 3 different off seasons and training camps, you're evaluating him not based on the Cleveland preseason game. You're evaluating him on everything else behind the scenes, mostly, right?
Absolutely. And what saves you, so Cine would make the roster if he was a special teams ace. Then I think he makes it, but he's not.
Yeah.
So yeah, this to me is a very crafty play to get a draft pick, which I will say for the 1,000th time, they need draft picks.
Yeah.
They've got
They
three
do.
right now. They've got a
Yep.
first rounder and 2 fifths, and that is it. And yeah, the compensatory pick, we can talk about that, but they need draft picks.
But some people would say, right, but they need draft picks because they need good players. And dude, I'm telling you, if Lewis Cine once again like goes gangbusters in a preseason game against Philadelphia's backups, and it will be like the backups of the backups. You'll have a former first round pick going up against, the same guys that the Vikings are putting out there. But if he does it again and he leads the team in tackles and 12 tackles and another interception or a sack or something, a forced fumble, people are going to be really loud. Like Vikings fans are going to be, and there's going to be some pushback if and when he gets cut or traded for a 6th round or 7th round pick.
Sports dad tunes out that noise, makes decisions that are best for his franchise.
Max Muscle chimes in and says, "Dear Macadac, Sports Dad, and Dex, I hope this note finds you well rested, caffeinated, and ready for another week that is Vikings preseason. I'm sitting here reflecting on last week's trip to Cleveland, thinking about how nice it was to see Kevin Stefanski around the purple and gold again. As dimensional talks are vogue these days, here's one for the crew. Is there a dimension out there where in 2019 the Wilfs decide to promote then offensive coordinator Kevin Stefanski to head coach and part ways with Mike Zimmer instead? What would Kirk's Vikings career have looked like if Stefanski had taken over for Mike Zimmer?"
I mean, that was talked about, right? Like, wasn't
Feel like it.
I don't know how much it ever like really came to fruition, but weren't the Cowboys like interested in trading for Mike Zimmer after 2019? Do I have this timeline?
That
right?
was I think that was reported as a possibility. I don't
Sure.
remember how we definitely
Realistic,
did segments and shows about it. I don't
Yeah.
remember if it was going to take place, but then if you recall, they beat the Saints and that got pulled off the table completely.
Yeah.
If they don't
That's
beat the
what it
Saints, because Mark Wilf, the week of the Saints game, issued a bleeping statement saying Mike is our coach, which meant, oh, Mike's on real thin ice.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Stefanski, man, the job he's done with an all-time historic train wreck organization.
Yep.
He's 37-30 with the Browns the last 4 years.
Yeah, and Deshaun
Stability.
has been not playing. He's hurt again now. Like if I was to tell you they're going to get Deshaun Watson, and you'd say that's awesome, and then I was to tell you, and it's not going to work out well, you'd be like, they are really screwed.
No, it's hard to answer the other part of the question. What would Kirk's career have looked like? I don't know that it would have looked that different. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe they do go and like win a couple extra games or a playoff game or something. I don't know that they go to a Super Bowl, but yeah, the work that Stefanski's doing. I mean, hell, Joe Flacco, come on in as our 4th quarterback that we're going to use.
Yep.
11 wins, playoffs, right? It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean they've had Jacoby Brissett starting chunks of games. Joe Flacco came off the street. They got the tail end of Baker Mayfield, who kind of collapsed there a little bit. PJ Walker, for God's sake, started 2 games for them last year. So you talk about the quarterback carousel, and he still is basically a above 500 coach. Pretty damn good job.
I tend to agree with Phil though, because I don't think, like, if you're asking the course of Kirk's history as a Viking, like, it got changed by O'Connell, who did a great job with him. So like, I don't know. I mean, eventually the contract would have chased Kirk regardless, right? Like, because O'Connell liked him. He liked O'Connell, but we always knew that he was probably going to ask for one more big contract. And the question is, and this would have been true with Kevin Stefanski or O'Connell, do you want to pay that much of the salary cap to a guy that's aging? And I think the answer in both cases is no. So I think it might have changed things a little bit in 20 and 21, but I think at the end of the day, the story probably played out very much the same either way. Don't you guys?
Yes, I think we're talking maybe marginal improvements the last 2 years of Zimmer, just because if you're telling me it would have gone from a cantankerous, contentious relationship between head coach and quarterback to more of a connection and a bond, and Stefanski had that with Kirk.
Absolutely.
So I think it would have, and obviously like the Vikings likely wouldn't have hired Kevin O'Connell, but you would have had something similar in place.
Right.
Where
I don't think exactly.
Offensive minded guy who can connect.
Yep.
Okay. Sharif Stafford chimes in, says, "What's up, guys? As someone who got married March 11th, 2023, the second week of March, I'm here to defend the second week of March weddings. It's much more diabolical to get married during football season than it is during free agency season."
No, March, you do not touch March.
If you're a true football fan, you
and think
stay
about
away.
this.
Okay,
Football,
pick though.
College basketball, like you don't choose March. April is where you start.
I want you to pick. You have to go to one of these options. Week one of a Sunday, you have to go to a Sunday wedding, or you have to go to a wedding on free agency on Thursday. You have to pick right now, Judd.
Oh, God. I would pick.
And you know what? I'm going to add to what Declan said.
Well, hold on a second.
You have to go to the groom's dinner. It's for some reason this groom's dinner is the Monday night of tampering season, and then the wedding is on the Tuesday where it's like full, or Sunday night into the Monday of legal tampering.
Okay. So here's the question: which one am I being ruder at when I either watch a game on my cell phone at the nuptials or I just watch news?
At least on Sunday, like you know that a game is going to be in this window, dude. Free agency.
I'll take
a new left guard could sign at any moment. You never know.
I'll take the game because I can sit there, right? Phone down, nuptials on. No sound on the phone. That's okay. Don't love it, but that's okay. And I can watch the game.
I can't hear Kenny Albert calling
the excitement that one feels when the legal tampering period starts and you have deals left and right. Plus that can be followed on your phone, but I feel like it's more like there's deals, right? On Twitter, bang, 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 bang. I'll take the game because I feel like the game is just something that I can focus on while your selfish ass gets married.
Selfish. I feel like Sunday weddings in general, man. Because do
I
I have to take
Sunday
Monday
weddings.
off?
I don't do Sunday weddings.
I have this will shock you. I have 2 weddings on the books for next year already. One is on a Thursday. One is on a Sunday.
Thursday at like a destination on a beach or something?
Yeah, San Diego. Well, I don't know if it's a destination, but it is in San Diego, which helps.
I bet it's on the beach or something.
I don't know.
And what time of year are these again?
May and Labor Day weekend.
I don't like the
Labor Day weekend Sunday is like a Saturday because Monday's off, so that's different.
I feel like May is really, really good pick.
Yeah, but the schedule comes out. You know, you got
that's fine. May is fine. Declan's was the best.
And
it was a little hot, but I mean it's July. It's perfect. The Twins are playing. I just put the game on my phone. Got in a bit of trouble, but that's okay.
Had to watch the game. Game 84 of a 162 game season. Interleague.
Watch it at a bar.
Nonetheless. Okay, Brady LaRock says, I hope this email finds whoever has been sabotaging Judd's car. I just wanted to say thank you for thank you for the recent Reasons to be Optimistic episode of Purple Daily. It was a breath of fresh air. That was from earlier in the week. I think too many Vikings fans are pessimistic and negative thinking. And then they come to Purple Daily to rage comment in the comment sections on YouTube, and they get their anger out. I listen to the show and get very excited for Vikings football, so I couldn't imagine putting myself through the misery of thinking this team is going to suck this year, and then listening to how the fourth team defense is going to do at camp as well. Yep. Football is supposed to be fun, and I'm very excited to see this team play this year. I'm excited to see what Flores' defense looks like in year 2, what KOC can do with Darnold, and to see the Vikings win over 6.5 games because that's just too darn low. Thanks for all that you guys do.
Beautiful. Put it perfectly.
Well put.
Yeah, again, we went through the 6.5 win teams last year, a couple days ago on the show. And it was I think there was 5 teams at 6.5 or maybe 4. And 3 of them either made the playoffs or won a playoff game or won, like in the Colts case, they won 9 games and kind of got screwed by a tiebreaker at the very end. So now, is that the ultimate goal of the show? But people misconstrue, we want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die with, we must unrealistically expect, even if they're in the middle of a transition from one era to the next, that they must win a Super Bowl this year. I think what we have said was when you had Kirk Cousins making, 15, 18% of the salary cap, and he was brought in as a win now mercenary in 2018 as the final piece, Now you're being judged every year. Can you
Yes.
win the Super Bowl?
Yes.
They took a step back. They aren't to me. They aren't being judged on can you win a Super Bowl this year. That judgment starts beginning in 2025. So let's
Exactly.
see what they can do. Maybe they can surprise, low expectations, and over deliver this year.
Sports success is fun, especially when you don't expect success.
Unexpected sports success. Yeah. See if we can.
We'll see.
So there's your Feedback Friday on a Saturday here. Purple Daily.
I got to get to the fair, guys. I got to go.
Got to get to the fair.
I got to go.
There you go.
Gotta prepare for the State Fair food snake draft that
My
we will.
ticket. My
probably
ticket's
do.
still at work.
Yeah, mine is too. Can you grab mine too? Actually,
I
Text
grabbed
me.
mine.
Text me and yeah, thanks for grabbing ours so we could all
Yeah.
get on the bus with hey Judd, here's your ticket here. Hey, Phil.
I live the furthest away from the station, and I got my ticket. I think you two can handle it.
Well, I'm gonna get it before I get on the bus.
Right.
And the bus better be. If I see anyone on that bus who's not working, it's gonna be hell to pay. Hell to pay.
really glad we hit our audience with this discussion at the end of the episode.
Flushed it out.
We'll
Get
see
off
you
the
guys
bus.
Sunday morning for a 53-man roster 4.0 from Judd's Camp Notes.